What class would you say you are right now?
First class.
First.
Yeah, I'm proud to be working class.
Could you ever be upper class, do you think?
I wouldn't want to be.
If you're not white, you can never be upper class.
Why would you say that you are working class?
So I still work 50 hours a week and I shop at Aldi.
Do you have aspirations to change your class?
No.
I'd say it's education,
Yeah.
it's upbringing,
Yeah.
it's culture,
Yeah.
and undoubtedly it's also money.
I'm probably more towards the working class side of it because, I just lost my job.
Their value system is going to be ingrained, isn't it?
I'm much more concerned about underprivileged people who do not have things they should have, like a home and a job.
Or David Beckham?
Yeah, it's
Possibly,
good
yeah.
example. I mean, he's got more money than God, and he's certainly not going to be considered upper class.
Would you not want to be upper class? It sounds wonderful. All that
No.
money. No?
There's upper and everyone else.
Hi everybody, welcome to a new episode of Easy English. So I'm on Brighton seafront today and I want to approach the topic of class. In the UK we have a structure of social classes which look like this, starting at lower class and ending at upper class. But today I want to know what the people of Brighton think about this scale. I want to know which social class the people of Brighton think they categorise themselves into. I want to know what categories can define you and if just your state of mind can affect your social status. I want to hear about the stigmas attached to the upper and lower classes and if the class system is a relevant or helpful structure. Before we get started, please don't forget to subscribe to Easy English to be notified for each and every new video that we publish. Let's go. Do you know what class you are in the UK?
Working class.
Yeah, okay.
Working class.
Working class.
Yes, definitely working class.
Lower middle class, probably.
Traditionally working class, in terms of my background, definitely working class.
Lower middle.
Lower middle, okay.
Lower middle.
I'll say I was born into the working class.
I'd say I'm lower middle class.
And I'm working class.
I would place myself in the middle class.
How about you? What would you say?
Middle class.
Why would you say that you are working class?
So I still work 50 hours a week and I shop at Aldi.
Because I've worked all my life.
Okay. Okay, and how about you? Why would you say
Well,
why?
I grew up in a council estate.
I was born into the working class,
Yeah.
and luckily, I got out of that cycle because of going to university.
Maybe lower middle.
Lower middle. Okay, and why did you change your opinion just then?
I'm a homeowner.
As somebody who's had the good fortune to be able to go to a university and spend my professional life in higher education, I think that probably places me in a middle class.
Why would you say that you are this lower middle? You think you are? Why is that?
Because of my income and my job occupation.
I'd say it's education,
Yeah,
it's upbringing,
yeah,
it's culture,
yeah.
and undoubtedly it's also money.
I mean, I don't know what the definition of middle class is, apart from if you own your own house, maybe.
Okay.
Well, I'm certainly not an aristocrat.
Have you always been lower middle?
Possibly a bit higher.
Now, I think I'm probably more towards the working class side of it because, I just lost my job.
I've definitely changed, but it wasn't intentional. It was just because I suppose I went into professions and became a manager and was able to buy a house. And I suppose that makes me call myself that, because if I was really still working class, I'd probably be in social housing or renting, I would imagine.
If you move away from the rental market and you go and own your house, you become middle class. You're a working class person and you work to earn your house and you own your house. You're probably middle class.
What school is quite significant?
Okay. Because you went to a nice fancy school?
I went to private school when I was younger.
Okay, and
Junior school was private, yeah.
And how would you get into a private school?
Your parents pay
Before we carry on with this week's episode, if you're looking to level up and become fluent in English, then you should consider becoming a conversation member. If you go to easyenglish.video/membership and become a conversation member, then you'll be able to join myself, Easy, and other members in our regular conversation classes. Our classes are for intermediate to proficient English speakers who are looking to become fluent in the English language. Each week we meet up in our Zoom-themed pub to talk about regular topics you talk about in a typical British pub to help you improve your speaking and listening skills. You'll be placed into breakout rooms with other conversation members to talk about hobbies, films, work, pets, and even more. So to become a conversation member to improve your English speaking and listening skills, go to easyenglish.video/membership. And we'll see you in our pub. Now back to the episode. Is that how you define your class you are? From how much money you have, your education, and where you live?
But I mean, I think all of those things are entwined.
Why not upper class?
Okay. Well, in Britain, I'm not in the upper classes because A, I'm not British and I'm not white, and it's, those are defining characteristics, essential characteristics.
Could you ever be upper class, do you think?
I wouldn't want to be.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to be.
But could you be, to start off with?
I think if you're talking upper class, then it's something you're born into.
No, I could become working to middle, but I could never be upper, and I don't think I'd ever want to be upper either.
Can someone who is in the upper class ever go down to lower middle?
No, maybe no, probably not, because their value system is going to be ingrained, isn't it?
How come you can change when only there is a restriction on how much?
I think even if you start in middle class and you earn lots of money, I don't think you can tip into the upper class, because I think maybe just here in England, that is a lot of generational wealth and there's a lot of history towards it. You were born into upper class,
right?
I don't know if you can move into upper class with the amount of money you have. I think class there is a culture thing.
I think nowadays, maybe in the past you couldn't go up to the upper class, but nowadays it seems that you can. So, for example, the Middletons would have been middle class, definitely middle class. But perhaps their children and grandchildren now will be upper class if you see the circles that they move in and how they're accepted and how people aspire to be like them.
That's a great example.
You can't go up the ladder just from money.
So it's impossible to climb, but you climb down that.
You can sink.
Okay, but then here's a good question to test your theory.
Maybe I haven't sunk then, maybe I haven't, maybe I'm just poor.
Can an upper class person ever be lower than upper class, ever? Can they ever come down the pegs?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I think when it comes to the upper class, it's a privilege. There's not a lot of choice there for anybody, whether you are or not. I think it's something that is given.
So it's a mindset.
Yeah, it's a mindset. Yeah, absolutely. And with middle class, I just don't think you can do that. I think middle and working are like quite close to each other. I think there's not too much of a cultural difference. So I think you can move that way, and I agree. You can't really go to upper class.
Don't want to be part of that either.
Yeah, of course.
Does privilege come into this?
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, it's all the things I hate, really.
The key word really is the privilege part. Okay. So that obviously the upper classes had privileges, whether they took, advantage of them or not. Yeah. They still had them. So I think it's probably more difficult for them to go down the social scale than for people on the bottom of the social scale to go up the social scale.
You have someone that is upper class maybe that you know?
Well, it's more comfortable than me for sure. So,
okay.
But I wouldn't give a label.
We know of people who, if you ask them what they do, they say, I manage my father's estate. Which is very nice if you can get it.
Not everybody who's upper class is wealthy any longer. I mean, there's also the issue of inheritance.
You said comfortable. Does that mean money? You think they have more money?
Probably more assets.
So they're not rich, they're wealthy, maybe. Like inheritance.
If you want to say that, though.
The prime example in recent years was, I believe it was when Boris was Prime Minister, that, 90% of the cabinet had gone to Eton.
So you can be extremely wealthy
Yeah.
and be working class.
Right. For example,
Footballers.
nice, good example. Is there stigma attached to certain classes?
Not any longer.
No?
No, I don't think so.
I've struggled growing up being working class. I've struggled with being working class because I wasn't proud to be working class.
No.
Like actually growing up, I was a bit embarrassed to be working class. I'm proud now of where I've come from because I've not moved class, but like I've got out of the cycle of not doing much, not leaving the hometown, not like striving or achieving and like doing everything I can. But like growing up, and even now, I struggle with growing up working class because you're made to feel a little bit ashamed to be working class.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So somebody who has, a country mansion, for example, that they've inherited and gone to Eton, would certainly, I think probably assume that somebody who has wealth from entrepreneurial activities, but didn't go to a private school, is still not upper class.
In terms of like politics, I think there's a part of the problem is the lack of connection with the different classes, with the working class. Way too many upper class candidates become, represent the country that they don't really understand and maybe don't feel the compassion to understand or the wish to understand.
I have a nice life now because I've worked hard for it.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to have that life. I don't want that life because you're too detached from the people that are going through the struggle and people that are trying to achieve what is normal life.
Providing you're working and you're not a burden on society needlessly, then that's okay.
So is the class system dissolving then in the UK? Is it as prevalent as it was a couple of decades ago?
I think it is, but people probably don't. It's not as acceptable to refer to it as it used to be.
I'm much more concerned about underprivileged people who do not have things they should have, like a home and a job.
That's the real value of moving up, is that your problems change. And we all have problems. Your problems change. You go from, I need food, I need to survive, we can't turn the heating on, put jumpers on, I can't do my homework because my hands are cold, to, okay, well, what restaurant are we going to go to? Oh, I've been to that restaurant, last week I don't want to go anymore, I don't like the food. Your problems change, and that's a huge part of like changing, is the problems that you have.
If you can stand on your own 2 feet and provide for your family, then that's pretty good, whatever class you think you are.
Rather than class, much more important is how kind you are and what contribution you're making to society.
Thank you for watching this week's episode. Let us know in the comments below what class you consider yourself to be in and how it works in your respective country. And as always, we'll see you next time. Ta-ra!